Marketing, when we work with assisted living, mainly, doctors, providers in that area, anybody on Medicare, anybody that takes Medicare in the Advantage plan world is who we can market to. We can market to anybody, I'm not saying we can't, but when you're meeting with a provider, a doctor, and you see what plans they're contracted with. Since there's all these Advantage plans, we see what plans they're contracted with, and then we find out which ones they're not. Yes?
On seeing who they're contracted with, don't just rely on Spark, because they might have been contracted with that plan 3 years ago, and it's still on Spark's platform.
So look through Spark, see who they're contracted with, and then check the carrier databases to see if they're still with them or not. But it's always good to contact the doctor and get their insurance list. Let them know that you're working with clients and you want to, send people over here, but you need their list. So you get their list. Yeah.
It's probably like a really stupid question, but my wife is working at a health office, and she was, is that just something that typically is done? She was telling me how some of the Medicare agents basically, they butter them up.
Right.
Like they spend time buttering up the doctor and time buttering up the staff and everybody else. So is that part of how that develops, or are you just kind of hitting somebody up and going, hey, doctor so-and-so?
So you need to, yes, that is. So when you go, first you do some research on who you're going to work. You can get a list of doctors, you can go hit all the doctors, yes. If you know what insurances they take, and then you put them on your list and you go and visit that office every week.
Oh, okay.
Basically, and then you get the name of the front desk gal, the people that work there. You figure out what they like and what they don't like based on what's on the desk, and you make notes of that. So every time you go, you know who you're talking to, but then you're gonna run through the same spiel. So the spiel is, we work with Medicare age people, we contract with all the plans. I see you're only contracted with these carriers. If somebody comes in that's not on one of these ones, let me know. And I can, get them switched over to one that you do take so you can give them the care that they need. So you get them, you pretty much say the same thing, but you go in and you talk to them because you know them now. So after 3, 4, 5 weeks, it generally takes 7 touches in sales to get somebody to trust you enough to make a sale. So you get their information, you send them an email, the next week. You go visit them the next week, the next day you send them an email saying it was nice stopping by. And then you go back the next week. So marketing is, yes, ads, but it's touches. To make referral sources, doctors are referral sources. They have people coming in all the time, right?
Is there ever a situation where you'd want to pitch, instead of transferring people over, maybe another network or an idea for the doctor to accept someone else's care or anything, situation like that, or would it only be for?
What's your idea?
No, maybe adding a network to them, being you guys don't use this group, but
So for them to contract and get signed up with another carrier,
right,
it's a very lengthy process.
And that takes about 6 months to a year for a provider to actually get credentialed with a carrier.
Oh, okay.
So
changing somebody over, say it's the 13th of the month, they'll be ready to go the 1st of the next month.
Okay.
Right, so that's a 20-day process, not a 8 to 10 to 12 month process.
So then, yeah.
So who's the person that you want to talk to find out, who would be sending people our way? Because the doctor's probably not going to do it, right?
Right.
It's going to be manager or somebody.
A case manager, a social worker.
And it's going to depend on what type of location you walk into.
A medical assistant.
Yeah.
Someone who works with outside resources, on that end.
In the doctor's office, they're going to say, what's your name? Do you have your insurance card? Start with that person there. Because they're going to run, they're going to find you on the computer, yep, you have the appointment at 8:30, and they're going to look at your insurance, and they're like, okay, well, we don't take that. So that's who you start with, and then from there, you've got to find out who.
So after being there for a while, then would it be a dumb idea to ask that person, what do you do when you have someone that you're trying to serve that doesn't in your network? How do you serve them?
That's, yes, that's actually part of it.
Would it be easier if you didn't have to turn them away?
Well,
and a lot of times they're already turning them away on the phone when they call to make that appointment, because that's usually a question they're going to ask them over the phone. If somebody new into an office, or somebody's, they changed jobs and now they have a different insurance, they'll usually find that out on the phone.
So
and that's when you want to get that. Normally they're not going to.
The doctor doesn't want to. The Doctors are in it providers are in it to get paid.
Right.
Everyone's in it to get paid.
Right.
Right. So you go in there and you find out which insurances they have, and then you let them know that if somebody doesn't have this plan, or you ask them, if somebody doesn't have one of these plans, what do you do? Well, we turn them out or we refer them over here. Well, then you can roll into your spiel, well, we help people change plans during the year because they need exceptional care, and you look at them, right? They feel special. So then, but they're not sitting there waiting for you to come in and talk to them.
Of course not.
So that means you have to go in every week and say hi. And if you look at their desk and see what they like, because everyone puts little things about themselves on the desk, most people do, and you see something that they like, so then make notes of that, stop by the dollar store, find some trinket that looks like that. The next time you go on and say, hey, I saw this at the store when I was shopping the other day, I thought of you, and just give it to them. So now they feel even more special because you went out of your way and got them something.